Let's talk about the two hires. The one that is coming and assumed with the Lions and Dan Campbell from the Saints staff, and then Brandon Staley getting the job. I guess the Chargers were just watching their co-tenants and the defense this year and decided 1 year as the DC there is good for them. Let's make him the HC of the LAC. Walk me through these thought processes, please.
Well, with the Chargers, I don't know how this has happened. Maybe it's because nobody pays attention to the Chargers, but they have become the ultimate cone of silence, where no one knows what they're going to do. Nobody knew what they were going to do with Anthony Lynn, and there was reporting that they were going to hire Brian Daboll. I'm told, Rich, and I'm working on this story right now. It'll be posted at ProFootballTalk.com minutes after we're done. Brandon Staley was always the guy. He was always the guy. It was never Daboll. I don't know how the Chargers pull this off. And they want Staley. They got Staley. My concern about Staley is when you've got a young franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert, Staley's going to bring in an offensive coordinator. Herbert's going to play great. That offensive coordinator is going to be a head coach somewhere else. You're bringing a new offensive coordinator. Lather, rinse, repeat. I'd rather have my young quarterback tied to an offensive mind for 15 years like Sean Payton and Drew Brees. I felt the same thing about the Jets with Robert Saleh. He may end up being a great coach, but if Sam Darnold gets fixed, then Mike LaFleur, the new offensive coordinator, is going to be a head coach somewhere else, especially because he's Matt LaFleur's brother and worked with Sean McVay. I mean, he's got all the planets lining up for him to not be there for very long. So that's my concern about the Chargers. And with the Lions, ton of respect for Dan Campbell. I'm surprised. I don't understand how the Saints assistants don't get more run, whether it's Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator, never mentioned Rich as a possible head coaching candidate. And I'm not saying he should get hired, but I think he's done enough to merit an interview the last 4 years. And then Pete Carmichael, who's just kind of there, and people just assume that, well, it's all Sean Payton. Well, in Kansas City, it's all Andy Reid, and he's got this pipeline that's spitting out head coaches. And now finally, Dan Campbell, assistant head coach, tight ends coach, is going to get his opportunity. He's been an interim coach before in Miami, and there's a thought he's going to be really good. But we'll see. I mean, the Lions have been so bad for the last 60 years. My default position with them is I'm going to assume it's not going to work until they find a formula that does, and then I'll change my mind.
In the minute I have left, Arthur Smith's hiring by the Falcons. What does that mean for Matt Ryan's future?
Well, they also have to hire a general manager, but the expectation is Terry Fontenot from the Saints is going to take that job. Then it's going to be up to them to figure out what to do with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, and then they have to convince Rich McKay of it, who's kind of the GM emeritus and or extra guy with a spoon in the stew who can influence what Arthur Blank wants to do or not do. But they're in a huge cap problem anyway. I'm surprised Arthur Smith took that job because he falls into that category of guy who would have gotten a job next year or could have gotten another job this year. Too many cap problems. And I just feel like, Rich, it's been almost 4 years now, but that stink of 28-3 is not washing off. And maybe you do have to move on from Matt Ryan. Maybe you do have to move on from Julio Jones. But I just feel like that still, don't you feel that it still kind of hovers over the team? I don't know what they need to do to change it. New uniforms didn't change it. I don't know what changes it. But it just shows you what a disastrous day like that can do to a team and how it can just echo for years to come.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.